Welcome to Unpopular Opinions 601. This is a solo night tonight. My people had other things to do, and that's cool. But I had ideas I wanted to share with you. In this session, we're going to talk about economy and the Trump tariffs, production, all sorts of thoughts that came into my mind after an interesting conversation with some coworkers today. Our economy is basically the production and distribution or trade and consumption of goods and services. So you make something, you give it to other people for money. And those goods are used and or services are provided. Right now, our economy is supposedly doing well, but time will tell. Every person in our society has a job or a role or occupation. Some occupations are just children being children. Some are professionals being professionals. Some are old people being old people. But everybody got a place. Right now, I believe most people want to be employed, but many jobs are no longer available in our society. A person can be employed by themselves doing a small business, or they can be part of an organization, or they can have no job. But everybody wants a job, right? There are roughly 330 million people in the United States right now. As of the 2018 census, it's roughly estimated 327, but I'm pretty sure we have some undocumented folks that make up another few million. One of the processes that we've been dealing with in our country in the last few decades has been the process of globalization. This basically, in a nutshell, is jobs, technologies, and services being exported to the international market, typically because they can be performed at a less paid scale or in an environment where there are less regulations. And this has affected the availability of jobs in the United States to a great extent. Because of this, many sources of production are no longer in the United States. So, for instance, in my youth, I remember there were furniture manufacturing factories and t-shirt and clothing factories that were throughout the South and the Southeast. Many of those have left the country many decades ago. One of the things that we hear about now is the aluminum and the steel tariffs. There are very few steel production facilities and aluminum production facilities in the United States now. This is a strategic problem, but if you have good relations with everybody, you can get it from somewhere else. My thought though, you have to have production in the country. And if you don't have production in the country, something happens, God forbid, you always have to go out. That's not a good thing. You want to be on the positive side of distribution. You want to be the one who is giving out the wealth, who is getting things from the land, who's providing the capital. You don't want to be always with your hand out. But the United States is currently in a situation where it has its hand out. And we are in economic situation where our economy is being funded by debt. And I don't know if you've ever been in debt, hopefully not, but from a personal experience, it's always hard to get out of debt, especially when you're not producing. One of the ways that our current president has decided to go about stopping the debt is to impose tariffs on manufactured goods from other countries. Now, is it short sighted? I don't know. Could be. In my opinion, I believe he is doing it from what he thinks is for the best of the country from a business standpoint. You have to have people employed, and if you're not employed, you lose the ability to gain money or have a positive trade balance because your citizenry does not have the opportunity to collect and participate in the balance of trade and in the economy. You just become a consumer. And that's fine, but everybody cannot be a consumer. There has to be a positive to the economy in some way. Our economy is strongly in a service position right now, and we're not manufacturing, and a lot of manufacturing jobs are leaving the country. And those jobs are leaving, and they're probably never going to come back. Currently, I think the last trade embargo that was placed on China has them at like a 25% trade tariff. And that's neither good nor bad, but from what I understand about it and what I've been told, China has a 25% embargo on most of the products that come out of or come into it from the United States. And that's, fair because it's their country. And what I understand that what Trump has done is he's reciprocated by imposing a 25% tariff on their goods coming into our country. Many people do not like this because it makes things more expensive, makes life a little bit more expensive every day. And, maybe we're going to go into a period of inflation. I don't know. But it's a concern. What this concern is it's possibly starting a trade war. This trade war is basically protectionism, and it's going to cause trade barriers between us and other countries. Now, are these trade barriers a bad thing? In a sense, they're an attempt to make sure people are employed and that the United States is not taking advantage of them, quote unquote. I don't know how we're taking advantage of when we have the ability to support local citizenry and whatnot, but I guess it's kind of hard when you can get that t-shirt for $2 from China and it costs $5 in the United States to manufacture. Minimum wage is a very contentious situation right now for a lot of folks because you really can't support yourself on minimum wage. But the minimum wage in a foreign country, because of their economic structure and their design, they can't.